Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth. We are in the BYNV today, reading from Bereshith, Genesis 17 in the new series, where I'm just going to be reading through the entire BYNV. So we are on 17. And it came to be, when Abram was 99 years old, that Yahuah appeared to Abram and said to him, I am El Shaddai, walk before me and be perfect. And I give my covenant between me and you, and shall greatly increase you. And Abram fell on his face, and Yahuah spoke with him, saying, As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you shall become a father of many nations. And no longer is your name called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham, because I shall make you a father of many nations. And I shall make you bear fruit exceedingly, and make nations of you, and sovereigns shall come from you. And I shall establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be Yahuah to you and your seed after you. And I shall give to you and your seed after you the land of your sojournings, all the land of Canaan as an everlasting possession. And I shall be their Elohim, their Yahuah. And Yahuah said to Abraham, As for you, guard my covenant, you and your seed after you, throughout their generations. This is my covenant which you guard between me and you and your seed after you. Every male child among you is to be circumcised. And you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall become a sign of the covenant between me and you. And a son of 8 yomim, or 8 days, is circumcised by you. Every male child in your generations, he who is born in your house, or bought with silver from any foreigner who is not of your seed. He who is born in your house, and he who is bought with your silver, has to be circumcised. So shall my covenant be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And an uncircumcised male child who is not circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, his life shall be cut off from his people, and he has broken my covenant. And Yahuah said to Abraham, As for Sarai, your Ashah, or your wife, do not call her name Sarai, for Sarah is her name. And I shall bless her, and also give you a son by her. And I shall bless her, and she shall become many nations. Sovereigns of people are to be from her. And Abraham fell on his face and laughed, and said in his heart, Is a child born to a man who is 100 years old? Or is Sarah, who is 90 years old, to bear a child? And Abraham said to Yahuah, O let Yishmael live before you. And Yahuah said, No, Sarah your Ashah, your wife, is truly bearing a son to you, and you shall call his name Yitzchak. And I shall establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him. And as for Yishmael, I have heard you. See, I shall bless him, and shall make him bear fruit, and greatly increase him. He is to bring forth 12 princes, and I shall make him a great nation. But my covenant I establish with Yitzchak, whom Sarah is to bear to you at this set time of year. And when he had ended speaking with him, Yahuah went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Yishmael his son, and all those born in his house, and all those bought with his silver, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskins that same yom, or that same day, as Yahuah told him. And Abraham was 99 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin, and Yishmael his son was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. Abraham and his son Yishmael were circumcised that same yom, or day. And all the men of his house, born in the house, or bought with silver from a foreigner, were circumcised with him. Bereshith, Genesis 18. And Yahuah appeared to him by the terebinth trees of Mamre, where he was sitting in the tent door in the heat of the Yom. So he lifted his eyes and looked, and saw 3 men standing opposite him. And when he saw them, he ran from the tent door to meet them, and bowed himself to the ground, and said, Yahuah, if I have now found favor in your eyes, please do not pass your servant by. Please let a little water be brought, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And let me bring a piece of bread, and refresh your hearts, and then go on. For this is why you have come to your servant. And they said, do as you have said. So Abraham ran into the tent to Sarah, and said, hurry, make ready 3 measures of fine flour, knead it, and make cakes. And Abraham ran to the herd, took a tender and good calf, gave it to a young man, and he hurried to prepare it. And he took curds and milk and the calf which he had prepared, and set it before them, and he stood by them under the tree as they ate. And they said to him, where is Sarah, your is-yah? And he said, see, in the tent. And he said, I shall certainly return to you according to the time of life, and see, Sarah your is-yah is to have a son. And Sarah was listening in the tent door which was behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, well advanced in age, and Sarah was past the way of women. And Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I have grown old, shall I have pleasure, my master being old too? And Yahuah said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I truly have a child since I am old? Is any matter too hard for Yahuah? At the appointed time I am going to return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah is to have a son. But Sarah denied it, saying, I did not laugh, for she was afraid. And he said, no, but you did laugh. And the men rose up from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abraham went with them to send them away. And Yahuah said, shall I hide from Abraham what I am doing, since Abraham is certainly going to become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the Eretz or earth shall be blessed in him? For I have known him so that he commands his children and his household after him to guard the way of Yahuah, to do righteousness and right ruling, so that Yahuah brings to Abraham what he has spoken to him. And Yahuah said, because the outcry against Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very heavy, I am going down now to see whether they have done altogether according to the outcry against it that has come to me, and if not, I know. So the men turned away from there and went toward Sodom, but Yahuah still stood before Abraham. And Abraham drew near and said, would you also destroy the righteous with the wrong? Suppose there are 50 righteous within the city, would you also destroy the place and not spare it for the 50 righteous that were in it? Far be it from you to act in this way, to slay the righteous with the wrong, so that the righteous should be as the wrong. Far be it from you. Does the judge of all the Eretz not do right? And Yahuah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then I shall spare all the place for their sakes. And Abraham answered and said, look, please, I who am but dust and ashes, have taken it upon myself to speak to Yahuah. Suppose there are 5 less than 50 righteous. Would you destroy all of the city for lack of 5? And he said, if I find there 45, I do not destroy it. And he spoke to him yet again and said, suppose there are found 40. And he said, I would not do it for the sake of 40. And he said, let not Yahuah be displeased, and let me speak. Suppose there are found 30. And he said, I would not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, look, please, I've taken it upon myself to speak to Yahuah. Suppose there are found 20. And he said, I would not destroy it for the sake of 20. And he said, let not Yahuah be displeased, and let me speak only this time. Suppose there are found 10. And he said, I would not destroy it for the sake of 10. Then Yahuah went away as soon as he had ended speaking to Abraham, and Abraham returned to his place. Next time we will be reading Bereshith, Genesis 19, and 20. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading today. Yahuah Baruch you and your families. I'm going to find a praise song to sing. I always have Count It All Joy marked because I feel like It's a very healing song for anyone that hears it. Count it all joy, count it all joy, count it all joy, count it all joy. Through the persecution, Yahuah went through it too. Count it all joy, count it all joy. Through the trials and tribulations, through the suffering and the pain, count it all joy, count it all joy. No matter what you're going through and you don't know what to do, just look to Yahuah and count it all joy. When Hashatan throws a wrench into your life, drop down to your knees and pray to Abba Yahuah. He will work it all out for you, so you can count it all joy. Count it all joy. Yahuah works everything out for good. Your heart and your mind must be working in unison. Stay faithful to Yah, and He will stay faithful to you, so you can count it all joy. Don't get caught up in the worries or cares of this world. Stay on the narrow path, not the broad road to destruction. Yahuah always has your back in your righteous ways, so you can count it all joy. Count it all joy. I love you all with an everlasting love, as our Abba Yahuah and the Shamayim loves each and every one of us. Shalom and blessings, warriors of Yahuah and the truth.